welcome to another episode of What's Up in the Sky for the month of August 2020. I'm your host, Lead Night Sky Ranger Jeff. There's a lot to see up in the sky this month as the planets rule the night sky, so let's get started. Jupiter, Saturn, and Neptune are all up in the evening sky. By midnight, Mars and Uranus join them. And in the morning sky, Saturn and Jupiter have disappeared as the Earth rotates about its axis. So where precisely do we find these planets? Well, as usual, we'll start with Mercury, the smallest planet. It's only visible the first week of the month and then very low in the northeast pre-dawn. So you'll have to get up early to see it. It is joined by Venus, which is also riding close to the Sun. Again, a morning planet. The Moon is always an interesting target. See if you can spot the lunar X and V on August 25th, 2020 at 8:54 p.m. It is located at the junction of Blankinus, La Salle, and the Purbach craters. The V is to the north of it. Don't forget that a reflector telescope shows things upside down. Next up is Mars. Mars gets higher in the sky and rises earlier as the month progresses. We are quickly catching up to it. Mars rises near midnight on the 1st and is up by 10 p.m. at the end of the month. Mars's brilliant red dot is hard to miss in the southern sky. It will be in Pisces the fish. It starts out at a brilliant minus 1.1 magnitude, and by the end of the month it will be minus 1.8 magnitude. The disk will enlarge from 15 seconds to 19 arc seconds, or just a tad smaller than Saturn's main disk. You'll need a lot of magnification to resolve anything at this point. Remember, for a telescope, take the diameter in inches and multiply by 50, and that is the theoretical limit of magnification. So a typical store-bought telescope of 4.5 inches, or 114 millimeter, that's about 225 power. But you'll need excellent skies, and August is not known for that, with all the humidity in the air. I don't typically show Mars to the public when it is still this far away and so small, but it is getting big enough to have a sneak peek. Jupiter is now moving through Sagittarius. It shrinks throughout the month as we pull further away from it in our orbit, but only by about 5% by the end of the month. There are a couple of transits of its moons. On the 14th, Ganymede from early evening until 10:51 p.m. Io transits at 11:24 p.m. and its shadow transits at 12:08 a.m. On the 21st, it happens again. This time, Ganymede starts transiting at 10:59 and Io at 1:11 a.m. On the 29th, it happens again, with the moons being even closer together. Ganymede starts at 2:31 a.m. and Io at 2:59 a.m. But this time, Io leaves Jupiter's disk first as it overtakes Ganymede. A new spot called Clydespot was discovered by Clyde Foster of Centurion, South Africa, an amateur astronomer, on the morning of May 31st. The storm is in the center of the NASA image just below and to the right of the Great Red Spot. I've also included a copy of the original image that Clyde took. Saturn is 8 degrees to the east of Jupiter and shines brightly. We'll see the northern side of the rings as Saturn is tilted 22 degrees towards us. Titan is easy to spot to the north of Saturn on the 1st and 17th, and to the south on the 9th and the 25th. The other moons are there, but you'll need good skies to see them. Tethys, Dione, and Rhea change their positions quickly, so they're hard to keep track of. Uranus is a morning planet rising after midnight, rising earlier each night throughout August. At magnitude 5.8, it is the brightest object in a telescope's field of view in that part of the sky. Neptune, as always, is a tiny disk at magnitude 7.8. Not much to see other than it really does exist. Pluto is now at magnitude 14.6, way too dim for most visual observations without a large telescope. In any case, take some pictures a couple of days apart and see which object has moved. The star that actually moved will be Pluto. August is the month for the best meteor showers, known as the Perseids. The peak date for this year is August 12th, with a predicted 100 meteors per hour. Meteors are about the size of a pea or even smaller, as the size of a grain of sand. With the moon in the last quarter, the showers should put on a brilliant show. This is the time to take out that all-sky camera and start shooting images. I take out my Canon camera and just snap 30-second exposures on its widest angle, which is 28 millimeters, in the hopes of catching a shooting star. Put a ground cover down and maybe a blanket and enjoy the show. There is a new comet, Comet C 2020 F3 NEOWISE. It is a naked eye surprise. The first brilliant comet in a long time, it survived its passage around the sun. You need to be up early, 2 hours before dawn, and have a really good east view about 10 degrees above the horizon. At magnitude 1.5, it's impossible to miss it. Look for it in Auriga. Around Connecticut, it probably means a trip to the coast unless you live at the top of a hill with no trees in the way. It actually went around the sun just inside of Mercury's orbit. It may or may not be visible by the first of the month, so go out quickly. Asteroid 7 Iris is the monthly challenge. It is found in Sagittarius just to the south of M23, which is an open cluster of stars. It's almost stationary and will actually make a sharp U-turn mid-month. It is a magnitude 9.8, so you'll need good dark skies to see it visually. This month's constellation is Lira. It is a small constellation almost directly overhead. Vega is the brightest star in the sky and is at magnitude 0. It is in the upper right corner of Lira. Our object of the month to be observed is Messier number 57, the Ring Nebula. To the visual observer, it is a small gray fuzzy ring. It is a planetary nebula with a magnitude of 8.8. A planetary nebula is a type of emission nebula consisting of an expanding glowing shell of ionized gas that was ejected from a red giant star late in its life. It is a misnomer, but got its name from the planet-like sphere that is created from the explosion. You might get lucky and be able to see the white dwarf that remains in the center. I have taken several images of this, and every one looks different depending upon the camera and sky conditions. But M57 looks like an annulus or a donut shape. Well, I hope you all are inspired to go out and view the night sky, especially with the Perseid meteor showers coming up this month. Take some time and enjoy the show that is in our night sky.